You haven't heard from him in 4 months. And yet this morning you woke up and the first thing you thought about was him. That doesn't make sense. You know it doesn't make sense. But there it is anyway. He wasn't good for you. You know this. Emma knows this. Sarah said it 14 different ways over 14 different lunches. You agreed every single time, and you still miss him. That's the part nobody talks about, not the missing itself. Everyone talks about missing people. The part nobody talks about is missing someone who hurt you. That kind of missing is a different thing entirely. His name was Ryan, and Ryan was exciting. Not kind, not consistent, not even particularly honest, but exciting in a way that got into your system and stayed there long after he left. The first time he disappeared was 3 weeks into seeing each other. No explanation, just silence. Then 4 days later, a single text like nothing had happened, and somehow you were relieved he came back. That was the pattern. He would show up fully. Attentive, warm, electric, then vanish, then return. And every time he returned, it felt better than the time before. Like a reward you had earned by waiting. You didn't recognize what that was doing to you. Not at first. You just knew that when Ryan was present, you felt more alive than you had in a long time. That feeling became the thing you were addicted to. Not Ryan, the feeling. Emma watched it happen. She would call and ask how you were, and you would say fine, and she would say no really, and you would describe Ryan, and she would go quiet in a way that told you everything. Sarah was more direct. He is inconsistent on purpose, she said. Whether he knows it or not, the inconsistency is the hook. You didn't want to hear that. You filed it away anyway. He told you once that he wasn't great at communicating, like it was a personality quirk. Like being bad at communicating was the same as being bad at parallel parking. Neutral, manageable, not your problem to absorb. You absorbed it anyway. You rearranged your expectations. You told yourself this was just how he was. You learned his patterns the way you learn the schedule of an unreliable bus. Always waiting, always ready, never certain. Then he hurt you properly, not with a big dramatic moment, with something quiet. A choice he made that showed you clearly where you ranked in his priorities. You saw it and you couldn't unsee it. You ended it, or he did. Honestly, it was mutual in the way endings always are when one person has already been leaving for a while. You said what needed to be said. He didn't fight it. That told you something too. And then the missing started, which made no sense. You had been unhappy. You had been anxious. You had spent more energy managing the uncertainty of Ryan than you had spent on anything else in your life that year. Why would you miss that? Emma came over with wine and said, "You don't miss him. You miss the version of him that showed up on the good days." You sat with that. She was right. But knowing she was right didn't make the missing stop. Here is what nobody tells you. Your brain does not file experiences by whether they were good or bad. It files them by how intense they felt. Ryan had been the most intense experience of the past year, so your brain kept returning to him, like returning to a highlighted page. The anxiety you felt waiting for his texts, the relief when they came, the way a whole ordinary Tuesday could become electric because he called unexpectedly. Your nervous system had been activated constantly, and now in the quiet, it didn't know what to do with itself. Peace felt strange. That was the most uncomfortable truth. You had been living at such a high level of emotional stimulation for so long that calm felt wrong. Calm felt like something was missing, because something was. The chaos. Sarah called it a nervous system pattern. Your body learned to associate him with intensity, she said, and intensity with aliveness. So now that he's gone, your body thinks you're less alive. That landed harder than anything she had said before. You started noticing it. The moments when the missing hit hardest, always when things were quiet, always when nothing was happening. The missing rushed in to fill the space, because your brain had been trained to expect something to fill that space. Him. You thought about the good days constantly. The afternoon he showed up with food because you mentioned being tired. The way he laughed at your jokes like they were the funniest things he had heard. Your brain had collected those moments and kept playing them on repeat. What your brain was not playing on repeat was the 4 days of silence. The choice he made that showed you where you ranked. The low-level anxiety that had become your baseline. The brain edits the story. It keeps the highlights and softens the rest. Emma said something one evening that stayed with you. We don't miss who they were. We miss who they were on their best day, and we grieve the person we thought they were becoming. That was it. That was exactly it. You were grieving a potential. A version of Ryan that had existed in flashes. That had felt real enough to hold onto. You had been in love with the best possible version of him. The version that only showed up sometimes. And missing that version made complete sense. But here is what took you longer to understand. The missing was also about you. About how you felt when you were with him on those good days. You felt chosen. Seen. Special in a way that only felt that intense because it wasn't consistent. Consistency would have felt ordinary. Intermittence made it feel rare. You had confused rarity with value. You had confused the feeling of relief with the feeling of love. Every time Ryan came back, you felt a surge of warmth. But that warmth wasn't love. It was the relief of someone who had been holding their breath, finally being allowed to exhale. Sarah put it plainly. The highs were high because the lows were low. If he had been consistently kind the whole time, those same moments would have felt normal. The contrast is what made them feel extraordinary. You sat with that for a long time. Weeks passed. The missing came in waves. Some days barely there. Some days hitting you in the cereal aisle of a grocery store for no reason at all. You learned to let the waves come without fighting them. Fighting them made them stronger. You started recognizing what the missing was actually asking for. Not Ryan specifically, but the feeling of being fully focused on, the aliveness, the sense that something was happening. You could want those things. Those were real needs. Ryan had just been a painful way to meet them. Emma met someone new around this time. Someone steady. Someone who texted back within a reasonable amount of time and showed up when he said he would. It feels boring sometimes, Emma admitted. You looked at her. That's peace, you said. You're not used to it yet. You said that, and then you realized you were talking about yourself as much as Emma. Peace had felt like absence. Like something was wrong. Because your baseline had been anxiety for so long that calm registered as emptiness rather than safety. You began to relearn what safe felt like. Small things. Waking up without immediately checking your phone. Making plans without wondering if they would be canceled. Existing in a Tuesday without it feeling like something was wrong because nothing exciting was happening. The missing didn't disappear. That's not how it works. But it changed shape. It became less about Ryan and more about what he had represented. Intensity, feeling chosen, the electricity of uncertainty. You could name those things now, without needing to return to him to find them. Michael reached out around month 3, quietly, just asking how you were. Michael had always been there in the background, steady, present. You had never given him much thought because steady had felt boring when you were in the middle of Ryan's chaos. You had coffee with Michael once, then twice. There was no electricity, not at first, but there was something you hadn't felt in a long time, the ability to show up without armor, to say what you meant and trust it would land safely. That feeling was new, or rather you had forgotten it. You didn't rush anything. You weren't ready to rush anything, but you filed away the observation. That safety and ease had felt boring to you before because you had been using anxiety as a measure of whether something mattered. If it didn't make you anxious, it didn't feel important. That was the thing Ryan had taught you, without meaning to. He had shown you exactly how easy it was to mistake anxiety for love, to mistake relief for connection, to mistake intensity for intimacy. Those things feel similar from the inside. They are nothing alike. 4 months after the ending, you were sitting in your apartment on a quiet evening, and you realized you hadn't thought about Ryan all day. Not once. The day had been ordinary and calm and entirely yours, and it had been enough. It had actually been enough. Missing someone who hurt you doesn't mean you should go back. It doesn't mean they were right for you. It means your nervous system is finishing the process of releasing something it held tightly. Let it finish. You are not weak for missing him. You are human for missing how alive he made you feel. The goal was never to stop feeling things. The goal was to learn the difference between what feels good and what is good, between what excites you and what is safe for you, between what your nervous system chases and what your heart actually needs. That difference is everything.